Hello everyone. Namaskar. Welcome back to our third episode of Let's Crack It, Gita Upadesh. This is the third episode where we are going to understand the remaining verses of chapter 1, that is from verse 21 to verse 47. So let's begin. Arjuna was a formidable warrior, and atop his magnificent chariot sat the mighty Hanuman. His unwavering devotion to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna was such that the Lord himself had chosen to be Arjuna's charioteer. In this moment, Arjuna, seated in the chariot, directed his instructions to Shri Krishna, addressing him as Achyuta, the most reliable one. He then requested Krishna to drive the chariot to the center of the battlefield. Arjuna, fearless with the Supreme Lord as his charioteer, believed that the Pandavas were justly entitled to half of the kingdom of Hastinapur. However, the wicked Kauravas, the sons of Dhritarashtra, had refused to share it. Arjuna was ready for battle, determined to reclaim what was rightfully theirs and bring justice for the wrongs committed against them. His request to have the chariot placed in the center of the battlefield was to observe the Kaurava army up close. Arjuna wanted to see all those who had sided with injustice, intending to punish them all equally for choosing the wrong side. No one would be spared. Sanjay said, "O Dhritarashtra," after being addressed by Arjuna, the conqueror of sleep, Shri Krishna drove the splendid chariot to the center of the battlefield, positioning it between the two armies. Shri Krishna addressed Arjuna as Parth, son of Pritha, referring to his mother Kunti by her other name. He then pointed out warriors like Bhishma, Drona, and the other kings on the Kaurava side, intentionally using the term Kuru to address them. This was to remind Arjuna that both the Kauravas and Pandavas were descendants of the great king Kuru. In doing so, Krishna highlighted that the enemies Arjuna was so eager to fight were, in fact, his own family and kin. The omniscient Lord was planting a seed of confusion in Arjuna's mind, only to dispel it later. He was setting the stage for the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, a timeless wisdom that would guide future generations, especially in the age of Kali. Arjuna saw in both armies his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, cousins, sons, nephews, grandnephews, friends, fathers-in-law, and well-wishers stationed before him. Shri Krishna's words had the intended impact on Arjuna. As he looked at the armies on both sides of the battlefield, his heart sunk. Those standing before him were all Kurus, his own relatives. The warrior who had been ready to punish the Kauravas for their misdeeds just moments earlier now felt a wave of fear. Realizing the devastation this war would bring, his courage began to fade. Overcome with confusion and filled with questions, Arjuna, gazed at his relatives and overwhelmed with compassion and sorrow, spoke the following words. Arjuna realized that the warriors on the battlefield, poised to shed blood, were none other than his own relatives, friends, and family. Arjuna said, "O Krishna, seeing my own relatives gathered here for battle, ready to fight and kill each other, my body is trembling, and my mouth is drying up. My entire body is trembling, my hair is standing on end. My bow, the Gandiva, is slipping from my grasp, and my skin feels as though it's burning. My mind is in turmoil, filled with confusion, and I can no longer keep myself steady. O Krishna, slayer of the Keshi demon, all I see are signs of impending misfortune. I cannot see how any good can come from slaying my own relatives in this battle. O Krishna, I do not desire victory, a kingdom, or the happiness that comes with it. What use are a kingdom, pleasures, or even life itself, when the very people for whom we seek them are standing before us in battle? Here, present are teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, grandsons, fathers-in-law, grandnephews, brothers-in-law, and other relatives, all risking their lives and wealth. O Madhusudana, I do not wish to kill them, even if they come at me in battle. If we were to slay the sons of Dhritarashtra, What satisfaction could we possibly gain from ruling the three worlds, let alone this earth? O sustainer of all living beings, what joy can we gain from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Even if they are the aggressors, slaying them will inevitably bring sin upon us. Therefore, it is not right for us to kill our cousins, the sons of Dhritarashtra, and our friends. O Madhva, Krishna, how can we expect happiness from killing our own relatives? Their minds are consumed by greed, and they see nothing wrong in destroying their relatives or betraying their friends. Yet, O Janardana, Krishna, why should we, who can clearly recognize the wrong in killing our own kin, not refrain from this sin? The older members of a family uphold long-standing traditions, customs, ideals, and noble values, which they pass down to the younger generations. These traditions play a crucial role in nurturing moral values within families and fostering religious propriety in society. When the elders pass away prematurely, their invaluable wisdom is lost, and without proper guidance, the next generation may stray from the virtuous path. Therefore, Arjuna believed that the elders of a family should be protected. In Vedic society, women held a very high status. For families to remain religious and societies to be moral, it was essential that women uphold virtue. Arjuna, concerned about the future, began to reflect, what would become of society if the elders' guidance and protection were lost? The women of the family might be led astray. He then said to Sri Krishna that if the women of the family were to fall into immorality and engage in adultery, they would give birth to illegitimate children. This would not only disrupt the peace and happiness of future generations but also deny the ancestors their rightful Vedic rituals. Family traditions would be abandoned, and the welfare of society would be jeopardized. The rise in unwanted children leads to a hellish existence for both the family and those who cause the family's destruction. Without the proper sacrificial offerings, the ancestors of such corrupted families also suffer and fall. The wrongful actions of those who break family traditions and lead to the birth of unwanted progeny result in the ruin of various social and family welfare activities. O Janardana, Krishna, I have heard from the wise that those who ruin family traditions are condemned to dwell in hell for an endless period. Alas! How strange it is that we have set our mind to perform this great sin with horrifying consequences. Driven by the desire for kingly pleasures, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. It would be better if, with weapons in hand, the sons of Dhritarashtra kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. Sanjay said, having spoken these words, Arjuna laid down his bow and arrows, and, filled with sorrow and anguish, sunk into his chariot seat, his mind consumed with distress. Arjuna's reluctance to fight the war had now reached its peak. Overcome with grief, he had surrendered completely to his emotions and fallen into deep despondency. His state was the result of his own material attachments, leading him to neglect his duty. This behavior was entirely unexpected from someone who had been regarded as the embodiment of devotion and self-surrender to God. In fact, before the battle began, when both sides were preparing their forces, Arjuna had chosen the unarmed Lord Sri Krishna over the entire armed Yadu army, as he placed his full trust in the Lord. At this point, it's important to consider who Arjuna truly was. He was no novice, lacking in spiritual wisdom. His celestial father was Indra, the king of heaven. Arjuna had visited Indra's abode and received numerous boons from him and other celestial beings. In his past life, Arjuna had been Nar, part of the divine pair Nar-Narayan, with Nar being the perfected soul immersed in transcendental knowledge and Narayan the Supreme Lord. So why, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, was such a great warrior laying down his weapons? What was the cause of his misery? For the sake of future generations, Sri Krishna intended to reveal the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. By deliberately causing confusion in Arjuna, the Lord created this opportunity. In this chapter, Arjuna presented many arguments and justifications for why he should not engage in the war, and in the following chapters, Sri Krishna elaborated on why Arjuna's reasoning was flawed and what the correct path forward was. That's it for this episode, guys. Thank you for watching. In the upcoming episodes we will be understanding the Gita Upadesh given by Lord Krishna to clarify Arjuna's confusions. Stay tuned, guys. Catch you up in the next episode. Bye.